Hey, welcome back. I wanted to tell you one story that came out of the genocide on Gaza this week. That this one actually received news coverage from places like CNN and the BBC. So this actually was getting some coverage, but it really wasn't complete. So I want to give some context to it, and also in case you missed it, this is really, really wild. So there was a young family in Palestine, a young couple. Um, the father's name was Mohammed, the mother's name was Juman, and they had just had newborn twins a few days prior. So, right there, that is an absolute miracle to have healthy twins delivered in the middle of this genocide when nobody has enough food, nobody's getting proper medical care, and somehow miraculously you give birth to healthy twins. So the babies were a boy and a girl, and their names were Aser and Asel. And when they were a few days old, Mohammed left the family apartment to go register their births and get birth certificates for his babies. So he had gone to the office, his local office, where you would do such a thing, and registered the births. And he was walking home with the birth certificates when he received a phone call that shattered his world. While he was gone, his apartment was struck by an airstrike, and his whole family was wiped out. The twins were 3 days old. And there is footage on the news that's just absolutely heartbreaking. Mohammed just, of course, just overwhelmed with grief, crying. His friends are trying to hold him and hug him, and he's just collapsing. And as he's clinging to his friend, in both hands, he's got the birth certificates that he was coming home with. But now his babies are gone. And that is obviously terrible in and of itself. But if you watch that news story, you might be thinking, well, gosh, there was a bombing and, the building they were in was hit and these innocent civilians just happened to be killed. But that's not the case. It's a lot worse than that. When you look at photos, the building that they were in, they were staying in a top corner apartment. And that's the only apartment that was hit. Meaning this was hit with a precision guided munition. This is the kind of weaponry that is more expensive to use. And, usually really would be reserved for a high level target. Like, for instance, when the leader of the Politburo of Hamas was recently assassinated in Iran, they think that's what happened, that a targeted strike was on the room where he was staying. But this wasn't the leader of Hamas. This was a young mother, a doctor, and her babies, and the baby's grandma. And those are the only people. And just so you understand, the IDF has that technology and the ability to do that. Usually they're just going for maximum damage and to kill as many people as possible. But in this case, they really wanted to get these specific people. So why does the IDF want to kill baby twins and a grandma and their mom? Well, apparently right before she died, Juman was standing by the window and trying to get an internet signal. She was very active on social media. In fact, I followed her, and she had been very outspoken in trying to expose the IDF's war crimes in Gaza. And particularly lately, she had been doing a lot of posting about the IDF's pattern of sniping children. And this is not just her saying this. And I mean, this is a credible person. She is a doctor. She is seeing this. But herself, but also we have heard these stories on news reports from Western doctors that have volunteered in Gaza, and they come back and they say the craziest thing was how overwhelmingly the deaths are children. And not just children who are randomly in the way of a war, but children that are being hit with sniper bullets, precision shots to their heart and head, toddlers. And she had been really calling attention to this, and it got her killed. And when I see people who are like, oh, I support Israel, it's like, do you understand what you are supporting? And this is what our government is supporting. This is not a secret. Now, us in the West, we might not be hearing many of these stories, but it's even starting to be so bad it's breaking through mainstream media. But while I saw the coverage of Mohammed wailing, holding the birth certificates, I did not see people talking about how this was targeted particularly to kill this young mother and her babies. And we know that the IDF has been specifically targeting healthcare workers and journalists throughout this war. The people who can save lives and the people who can tell the story. And while she wasn't a journalist proper, she was very active on social media getting that word out. So it's really gross. I'm sure that this was probably a American missile that hit them, killed this family, killed these babies. And it's absolutely crazy. I don't know what to say. This has to stop. And the only way this is going to stop is when the U.S. stops supporting it. And the U.S. is not going to do the right thing on their own, but we as the people have got to stand up. We've got to share these stories. We've got to get this information out to people. So yeah, that's just one little story from the genocide on Gaza that really stuck out to me this week that I wanted to talk about really quick. I'm just trying to do my part. I feel so helpless. And I just think that knowledge is power, and that I don't think we're bad people. I think we didn't know. And even if we knew, I don't think we knew how bad it was. But now that we know, we all have to stand up and stop this. So if you found this information to be helpful and useful and educational, please share the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Commenting always helps. It really helps to have engagement. I'm a new channel, and I really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.